Okay, now let's get on with our show. An Aussie startup, Packform, has raised $25 million for its marketplace, which makes it easier for businesses to get a good deal on packaging. To tell us more, co-founders Philip Weinman and Peter Williams join us on the show. Gents, great to have you on. Now, tell us a little bit about Packform, because it's only 2 years old. You've already got a $150 million valuation. And it's a business that's operating from Melbourne in the US.
Yeah, so it's been a wonderful ride. Phil and I got together with a guy called Preston Geeting a few years ago, and we looked at the packaging industry. And for something that should be very simple, it is just ridiculously complex. I called it the industry digital forgot. So I've got a background in digital. Phil's just an outstanding entrepreneur. Preston's a super sales guy in the packaging industry. So we came up with the idea of how do we create a marketplace which actually allows information to flow seamlessly. So Preston used to say that 95% of his day in his old job was just chasing his tail, and things like faxes were seen as highly innovative in the industry. And the other approach we took was the industry does not need one more factory, warehouse, box, truck. It's got it all there. It's how do we connect them up? And our model is very much about saying to people who've got customer relationships, hey, come on board, we'll make your life easier. And one of our recent dealers said something like, it's like being a caveman who had only ever seen a club being introduced to power tools, getting onto our tech. So it's just been, it's one of those things where, you have this vision, you go and execute, and it just works. It's just working, and really excited.
Well, it has just worked. I think you guys have basically been profitable from the start. Phil, in describing Packform, would you sort of say it's like the Amazon of packaging, and it's this one-stop marketplace where you can get everything you need if you actually need to send something in a package?
Yeah, I think probably the biggest advantage for us is where you have Amazon, where you can go on and buy different components for different products that you want to buy, and then get multiple deliveries. With Packform, you can raise an order. We go out into the marketplace and we search for the best suppliers across all the products, and then we deliver with one invoice and one delivery.
So why the US market? Is it particularly different to the Australian one that led you to sort of go down that path first rather than sort of doing it here?
Yep. I can start, but Pete, you go.
Yeah. So I mean, Australia doesn't have a high degree of competitive intensity in most areas. We tend to have, a small number of large players almost in any industry. But and we did speak to some of the locals here, but it was sort of, we're a little bit disruptive, and they're focused on the business of today. So, but the American market, huge. Like California, where we started, is probably the world's 7th largest economy by GDP. So we started there. It was much more fragmented and just a bigger scale, and to some extent it was easier to get into. So we thought, why not start there, and that's where we're going to get our scale.
Phil, I couldn't help noting that in the ACCC today was talking about competition as an issue in Australia. Are you guys thinking about bringing the competition that Peter's talking about to this market? Because by the sounds of it, we need it when it comes to packaging.
Well, we actually now, with the advent of imports and fast supply, as everyone knows, it's pretty hard to get supply of anything these days. And whereas with us, what we're able to do now is actually either import, but we're setting up our marketplace to come in at the same time as our float early next year. So we will be opening up in Australia, but we're focused on the American market in Germany, which is also highly competitive. And our whole business revolves around the more suppliers we have on the platform, the better it is. Unlike traditional models where most companies are trying to reduce the number of suppliers they deal with Packform, people just self-sign up, and we allow them to build their small business into big business.
Now, you mentioned that IPO. This is a pre-IPO raise. Tell us a little bit about it, who's backing you, and what the plans are in terms of going to market, because you are going for the ASX and not the NASDAQ, even though you are operating in the US.
Yeah, good question. We did consider that. In fact, Peter could probably answer this better than I did. 12 months ago, we had our first story about Packform's growth. And we had just about every private equity and every VC in America contact us, as well as the big ones here. And we said to them the same question: we don't need your money. If we don't need your money, what else can you bring? And there was really very little they could bring. So and we decided, if we're going to go and grow this business, the only way we're going to do it is if we go out and we raise some money to build the sales channel.
So tell us the IPO plan. So he was just talking about how you don't really need the money. So why go the capital raise and go public?
Yeah, IPOs don't come cheap. So, accountants and lawyers aren't sort of dropping their prices or not part of the marketplaces. So there's that expense. But really the model, it's almost like once you crack a formula, and initially we focused on the sort of operational excellence, all of that stuff, then really driving growth. But for us to be able to bring on packaging people from across the US, a lot of them will be leaving their day jobs, and how will I get paid? So we're sort of saying, we'll fund you to come on board, we'll back you, you'll get a better than a living wage, so you can build your business. So it's really allowing us to expand on the formula. And interestingly enough, it's like a lot of startups. Initially, it's like you're trying to pull the train up the hill. At the moment, it's sort of the train's hit that crest and is pushing us down the hill. So really, it's all about being able to rapidly scale with the formula we've got. And the thing is, there's really no great cost to the business of bringing on a new supplier or dealer, but it's being able to underwrite and underpin those dealers to allow them to build their business as they start.
Well, it sounds like there's going to be no shortage of people getting on that train over the coming months. We'll continue this conversation. People will be able to read more about Packform on startupdaily.net after the show. But Phil, Peter, congrats again on the raise and thanks for joining us.
No worries. Thanks for having us.